The president of the United States is considering his options. According to a New York Times story, Biden told an ally he's weighing his options of whether or not to continue in the race. And here's the first paragraph. It's very short. President Biden has told a key ally that he knows he may not be able to salvage his candidacy if he cannot convince the public in the coming days that he is up for the job after a disastrous debate performance last week. Who the ally emphasized is deeply in the fight for re-election. He says he knows if he has two more events like that, we're in a different place. By the end of the weekend, said the ally, referring to Mr. Biden halting an unfocused performance in the debate. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive situation. And it is just that. It is a sensitive situation. I don't take any joy in it. As a matter of fact, the American people, it is about policy. I don't agree with Joe Biden's policies. I never have. And so he wasn't getting my vote, but he has my respect. He earned the presidency. I call him President Biden. You don't hear me name call. It's not my style. He has my respect because he won the presidency. But I also say that, when people go into that office, they understand they're a placeholder, that they have really hard work to do. But they're a lineage that very few people have ever held that office. It's the most powerful office in the world, and the office must be respected. And so whoever wins the presidency, first of all, that president has to be respectful of that office, but also the people have to respect the office as well. All of the arguing that happens when a sports team gets invited for a national championship or a world championship, it gets invited to the White House, and you have players that say, I'm not going because this person is president or that person is president. I just don't agree with it. He's a placeholder. And maybe this is off the track of him running for re-election, but if the president of the United States invited me to the White House, I would leave right now. It's our house. It's the White House. It's owned by the American people. It's occupied for a short time by someone and their family, and they make big decisions, but it's still America's house. Tomorrow is Independence Day, and we're talking about the freedoms in the country we've created. But now to have this office be so up in the air, and what I mean by that is the current president of the United States, if he's talking about being able to convince people that he's up to the job, but we all have to be concerned about this. Can he do it for the next 4 years? One of the things the president said, Biden blames the European trips for the debate flop. Despite long huddle at Camp David, he almost fell asleep on stage. He said, I decided to travel around the world a couple of times shortly before the debate. I didn't listen to my staff, and then I almost fell asleep on stage. He said during an event on Tuesday night, he said it wasn't an excuse, it was an explanation. But I have a question about that. The job of president is literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for at least 4 years. They get little breaks and vacations that they take, but they're working when they're on those. They're never not at work. They are always on the job. And it is 20-hour days. It is not glamorous. I mean, we see the glamour of Air Force One landing and the president getting off. We see the limousine and the motorcade. We see them walk out on stage to crowds of people that have been waiting hours to see them. We see those things. We see the state dinners. We see the tuxedos. But behind the scenes, this is a treacherous job and takes a toll on even the strongest people. So what do we believe in? I want you to hear Karine Jean-Pierre. She is obviously the White House press secretary answering questions about this. Rachel Scott asking the question everybody wants to hear an answer to.
Pelosi said it's a legitimate question to ask if this is an episode or this is a condition. Which one is it?
Well, what I can tell you is that he had a cold and a bad night. I would not see this as an episode. I would see this as what it was and what we believe it to be, which is it was a bad night. And he did, on top of that, he had a cold.
Okay, I just don't believe that's true. That is cover. That is political cover. And the American people saw that because we have so many other people now that are saying, well, we've seen the decline for a long time. She goes on.
He knows how to do the job. And he knows how to do the job, not because he says it, because his record proves it. Because for 3.5 years, almost 4 years, the president's record has been unprecedented.
So they're fighting. We'll see what the president does as the reports are now out. He's considering his options in all of this. I think it is it's a great, it's something we need to really take a close look at.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.